How's it going? I'm going to tie a fly tonight. I'm going to call it the short cat tail beadhead. Short cat, because it is for my friend Felipe. Felipe. I call him Short Cat. We call each other Short Cat. I don't know why. It just happened one day. Even back when he was in the military and he wrote me letters. Yeah, he drew pictures and called me Short Cat. So anyway, that being said, let me get this turned around and we will get started with the short cat. So I'm tying this for Felipe for his birthday. His birthday was on the 21st of this month. And I said happy birthday to him, but I didn't get to do anything for him. So since we're so close to each other now. Anyway, so I'm going to call this one the short cat. There goes my dog's going crazy. Sorry for the noise. It's pretty simple. This is actually also kind of let's say like recycling fishing, because I'm reusing the hook. I'm all being good to the universe and stuff. So it's just going to be some olive green thread. The thread's not going to show very much. I've started off already with a small beadhead. Got these at Little River Outfitters in Townsend, Tennessee. Cyclop eyes, 3/32, gold-plated beadheads. I'm going to use some eye stub in olive brown, shiny stuff. I'll use one of these grizzly hackles. That'll go over the overall fly. And then the reason it's called a short cat is because I'm going to be using the infamous cat tail or cat fur for a tail. So I'll go ahead and get started with a layer of thread here. So Felipe and I had an kind of an interesting start to a friendship. So we actually went to the same church for a long time, and I never knew that he went there because we were in different Sunday schools. My buddy John, my buddy Sean, Daniel, they all knew him, but I didn't know him. So anyway, so we went to the same high school. We weren't friends in high school. We had a couple of classes together, and I even annoyed him in English a few times. But yeah, we weren't really friends then. Then we graduated, went to San Jac for a year, and then I moved to Florida. We came back from Florida. My buddy John was hanging out with him, and he came to some stuff. And I was like, what's Felipe doing here? Because we weren't friends with him, or I wasn't, but they started hanging out. Anyway, so long story short, everybody came to my house one night, and we all spent the night. And then everybody else got up and left and went to do important things, and Felipe and I weren't doing anything, so we continued to hang out the rest of the day. I think we watched college football, maybe? I don't remember exactly what we were doing, but we just sat there and watched TV all day. And then he left. Well, shortly after that, we started hanging out. I made a trip back to Florida for a friend's wedding, and he rode with me. And that's where he got the nickname Crash. We won't go into that one. And that nickname came from my buddies in Florida. So that was cool. Let me pause for a second. So I've got some cat hair. So it's just a big tuft of it. I have this big chunk. This is pulled off of a bigger chunk. But I'm just taking it and pulling some of that hair free. And what I'm going to do is just try to get this to lay out flat so I can use it as a tail of some kind. I'm just taking it and pulling it. And this is, I mean, literally just going to be a little tuft of hair. Like I said, it's a short, I'm calling it the short cat because I'm making a short fly out of this. When this, it doesn't have to be that fluffy like with marabou. Once it gets wet, it's just going to do its thing. It's going to be skinny, like a tail almost. So I'll just do that and pull some out. I'm just going to leave that like that. Okay. Then, yeah, so I'll just do that. I'll come back down. Okay. So that'll kind of make a tail for it, and I can trim that off square a little bit. Okay, there's a little tuft of a tail. Next thing I want to do is tie in my feather. Let's snip this off. Tie that in. And then I'm going to dub this. And after I dub it, then I'll pull that feather around and make a body out of it. And the dubbing is going to be, again, the cat fur, but I'm going to mix it with that ice dub. So it's just pull some of this stuff loose. Try to get the lumps out. So I got a little tuft of that. I've already got some of this ice dub pulled out here. I'm just going to mix this all together. So yeah, we made the trip to Florida to see my friend's wedding, and then came back, and we were both not working, both doing our thing. And actually, when we came back, we started talking about like how we were not doing anything, and how we were kind of like scrubs. And so we were in school, but weren't really doing much with that. And so we started talking about the military. And Felipe and I we were talking about which branch we would like to try to go into. And our first thought was, because both of our grandparents had been in the Navy, we thought about the Navy. So we actually decided to go stop at a recruiter's office. We went in and talked, and we talked about what we could do if we got in, or when we got in, what kinds of jobs that were available, things like that. But then we were saying that we wanted to go into reserves. And I don't know if the recruiter was blowing smoke that day, but he told us that, and we were both 25 at that time. The recruiter told us that we had to be, that they were only taking reserves for the age up to the age of 26, or after 26. You had to be 26 or older. So if you were 25, you had to go in full time. I think he was blowing smoke, but whatever. So we went, and it was towards the end of the day. We said, well, we'll think about it. We're going to go talk about it. So we went and left, and we talked about it, and Felipe said he was going to go the next day to the recruiter's office again, but he was going to talk to the Army. And so I had to go. I had school that day, or work or something. He was off, so he went and he signed up for the Army. Well, I never went back. Now, granted, I have got some things that happened to me when I was a kid that might probably keep me from going in anyway. So when it came to that, I thought, well, you know what? I just need to go back to school and finish school and do what I'm supposed to do. So I did that, and he went into the military. And now he's still in the military, and that was, well, we were 25, and I'm 44 now. Well, he's 44 now. So, tells you how long ago that was. And he's done well. He's been all over the place. So, and I love him for it. He's a great guy. Anyway, but we had a lot of fun. We lived together for a little while, shared an apartment, just the two of us for a little while, and then our buddy John came in as well. And we had a lot of fun. Spent a lot of time messing with each other, and a lot of time quoting movies. We didn't even talk for real. We just talked in movie quotes. So, anyway, this has turned out to be a pretty good fly. Felipe, I think you might be the winner of getting a good fly from me for a birthday surprise. Besides maybe my mom's was pretty good. So, one thing about my flies, and I've said this on several of my videos. Sometimes when you tie a fly, you end up with something really cool, and sometimes you tie a fly and you end up with a bunch of crap tied to a hook. This is the prior, not the latter. It's actually a good looking fly, and probably pretty usable. These hairs would make it sit on top a little bit, but this bead, if I made this without the bead, this would float more, stay on top, because the bead is going to make it way more. But the hair down in there will hold bubbles, air bubbles. The tail will hold a little bit of bubbles, and the flash will, of course, make it sparkle a little bit, so that when it's underwater, it will attract fish. So this would be great for things like perch, good for trout. But yeah, I mean, perch, anything shiny and small, they'll come up and eat it. But trout, that's not really the case. You got to be really particular with trout. So I'm just going to finish this off with a whip finish. By the way, funny story before I finish this fly. So I have a cabin in East Texas, had a four-wheeler. Took Felipe for the first time. He'd never been there. We got there and it was already dark. We decided to go for a four-wheeler ride. And so I was riding, he was actually filming, I think, or whatever. And I think that a headlight was burned out on the four-wheeler. And we're going along. Maybe it was lit. I think it was lit. We were going along, and there's a place where you can go around along this fence and then turn around and come back on the other side of the fence. And I was driving, and we were being all loud. And I said, "Hey, you want me to run through the fence?" He said, "No," and I turned real fast, and he screamed. It was funny. There was a gap in the fence that he didn't know about. So, anyway. Alright. So there, I hope that was in focus. Anyway. There's the fly for Felipe. It's Felipe's short cat, made out of cat hair and feather. And a bead. So, Felipe, happy belated birthday. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you get to watch it. And those of y'all that popped in and watched, happy Monday. And thanks for watching. I tie these flies and I put them, they start on Facebook, but I put them on YouTube. This is probably number 45, I think. I've got several videos on there. I had a guy actually pop on the other day and put a thumbs down, and I was kind of bummed, but I was thinking, he didn't say anything about what was wrong with the video. I don't really put a lot into these. I love to tie flies. I like to video it. I like to talk about some stories and things like that, and just educate people, because I'm, a former teacher, and I like to educate. And so I tie my flies. Sometimes they turn out good. Sometimes they turn out like junk, and I'm honest about it. I don't try to pretend that all my flies are awesome. I just go through the steps and teach people. So I hope that people get enjoyment, because I've also heard from my videos that they were the most relaxing thing they'd ever watched. So I think that's a bonus too, and to hear that is pretty uplifting. So I hope you enjoy the videos. If you don't, that's fine. If you do, cool. But check out, you can actually search Google or search on YouTube, Quiet Man 28. And if you search Quiet Man 28, you'll find my videos. I've got several of me tying different flies with little stories like this. Some of them are kind of commemorative flies for people or for things like A&M or Texas State or the Astros. And then some of them are just flies that I either am tying a fly that's well known, or I'm making up a fly. So if you like those kinds of things, little short videos, well, they're not too short, about 15 to 20 minutes, most of them. But hope you enjoy it. Check it out. If you do go on there, let me know you were there. You can subscribe. I've got like 19 subscribers, so whatever. But I have a few views. So if you want to go on there and view them, give me a thumbs up if you liked it. A little shout out or whatever. Just let me know what you think. And thanks for watching. Have a good day.